Today we're going to talk about three massive forces that are literally reshaping our world right now. The AI explosion, the way global trade is fracturing, and of course the fact that inflation just won't seem to go away. But this isn't just a tech story. It's about how all these things are smashing into each other to create a whole new economic and political reality. And it all kicks off with one huge question.
Right? It's the question that's on every single investor's mind. We've all seen tech booms come and go, and some of them have ended, well, spectacularly badly. So is this time actually different? Or are we just watching another massive bubble inflate, waiting for the pop? To get a sense of the sheer scale of this thing, just look at this number. We're seeing projections for the AI hardware market, led by giants like NVIDIA, soaring into the $4.5 to $5 trillion range. That's not just a market, that's an economic force of nature. It's got its own gravity.
So, let's start there. Let's just try to wrap our heads around the incredible speed and scale of what's happening. We're calling it the AI gold rush, and believe me, it's for a good reason.
The experts are not pulling any punches here. They are comparing this moment, this AI-driven shift, to things like the invention of electricity or the building of the railroads. Think about that. It's a fundamental rewiring of our entire economy, and it's happening at a pace that's just, it's unprecedented.
So what's actually under the hood here? What's fueling this revolution? Well, it really boils down to two things: a ridiculous leap forward in technology and an almost unbelievable amount of money being invested. Let's look at the tech first.
Okay, so this isn't just a little bit better. NVIDIA's H100 chip isn't a minor upgrade over its predecessor. We're talking about it being up to 30 times faster for AI inference. That's the part where the AI actually uses what it's learned to make a prediction or generate something. A leap like that doesn't just improve things, it unlocks completely new possibilities. And that creates this furious, almost desperate demand for the hardware.
And where there's demand, the money follows. In this case, it's like a fire hose of cash. This isn't just some number on a spreadsheet. We're talking about a massive, real-world construction boom. Tech giants are pouring hundreds of billions of dollars into what's called capital expenditure, or CapEx. They're building the data centers, buying all those chips, and laying the fiber optic cables needed to power this whole AI engine.
And if you thought that last number was wild, get a load of this. OpenAI, just OpenAI, has reportedly talked about plans for data centers that could cost over $1 trillion in capital. Just let that sink in for a second. This level of spending is so huge, it's actually creating its own economic weather system. It's becoming a major driver of GDP growth all by itself. Okay, so on one side, we've got this incredibly power-hungry AI boom that needs a constant supply of resources, energy, and parts from all over the world. But here's the catch. It's all happening at the exact same time that the global system that used to provide all those things is breaking apart. This quote from JP Morgan it nails it. The whole era of hyper-efficient, borderless globalization that we've lived through for the last 30 years, it's over. We're now moving into an age of competing economic and political blocks, where your security and who your allies are matters way more than just getting the lowest possible price.
And this shows you what that fragmentation actually looks like on the ground. You see this North American trading corridor taking shape, and on the flip side, you've got a 20% effective tariff rate on goods from China. That's the real tax people are paying after all the complicated rules are factored in. It's like the world is literally redrawing its economic maps in real time.
So, all this competition for resources naturally puts one part of the world squarely in the spotlight. In this new, fragmented world, South America is basically sitting on a strategic gold mine.
And why is it so strategic? Well, because the continent has the staggering concentration of the raw materials you need to build the 21st century. Look at this list. We're talking copper and lithium for all the electrification and the chips, oil for energy, and huge agricultural output for food security. And this, of course, turns the entire region into a critical geopolitical hotspot, caught right in the middle between the US and China.
And here it is. This is where those two massive trends, AI and fragmentation, smash right into each other. Remember those trillion-dollar data centers? Well, they need an absolutely mind-boggling amount of electricity. And suddenly, energy isn't just a commodity you buy and sell anymore. It becomes a strategic national asset, a weapon even. And that just intensifies the global scramble for resources and makes energy security the #1 priority for every major world power.
Okay, so this new world of fragmentation and strategic competition, well, it comes with a price tag, because making sure you have secure access to everything from microchips to energy isn't cheap, and that cost is now starting to ripple through the entire global economy. This right here is the key economic change you have to get your head around. For decades, the goal was super simple. Make stuff as cheaply as you possibly can, no matter where in the world you had to go to do it. But today, the new goal is resilience. It's about making sure you have a secure, reliable supply chain, even if it costs more. And that, fundamentally, is an inflationary shift.
And this isn't just theory. You can see the real-world cost right here. Look at Europe and Japan. They had to scramble to get away from Russian energy to secure their supply, right? Well, now they're paying double, sometimes even triple for electricity compared to the US and China. That is the price of resilience, and that cost gets passed down through the whole economy.
So the takeaway here is pretty clear. When you start prioritizing reliable supply chains over cheap ones, and when energy becomes a strategic weapon, the result is a brand new inflationary environment. This isn't just some temporary blip from a pandemic. It's a structural feature of this new global frontier, and that means higher and much more unpredictable costs for all of us.
So, with all that going on, with this complex new reality, how are countries and investors supposed to adapt? How do you not just survive in this new world, but actually thrive?
Well, the old playbook is basically out the window. In a world with more geopolitical risk and higher inflation, tangible assets, things you can actually touch, are making a huge comeback. The smart money isn't just chasing the next hot tech stock anymore, it's flowing to the real assets that this new world is built on. The copper mines, the power grids, the secure supply chains that AI literally cannot exist without.
Of course, whenever we talk about all this huge economic change, there's always the personal question. What does this mean for my job? Is a robot going to take it? Well, a little historical perspective helps. The economy has always been about creating new jobs to replace old ones. And for right now, the data suggests that AI is acting more like a super powerful tool that makes us better at our jobs, driving productivity up by around 30% in companies that adopt it, rather than just replacing people outright.
When you really step back and look at the whole picture, it becomes obvious that the map we've been using for the last few decades, well, it just doesn't work anymore. You can't look at technology or geopolitics or economics as separate things. They're all deeply woven together now, and understanding how they connect is the only way to really understand what's coming next.
And that leaves us with one final and pretty crucial question. There's really no doubt that AI is building the world of tomorrow. But in this new era of competition and fragmentation, the fight over who controls the resources, who gets to set the rules, and ultimately who gets to own that future, well, that fight has only just begun.